Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talking Trim. I'm Jonathan Skinner and today we're looking at the front seat covers and the Centre Cushion Armrest for the Jaguar XK140 models. Now this particular video is only applicable to the XK140 Fixed Head Coupe and Drop Head Coupe models, not the open two-seater Roadsters. They had a slightly different version of the seats. The Centre Cushion Armrest in the middle here is applicable to all of the 140s that use the later style round armrest as per this one. Some of the 140s used a rectangular square version on the earlier cars, which was very much akin to the one that was used in the earlier 120 models, whereas some of the later cars used this round version, which then carried on into the XK150 models, so just bear that in mind. But the seat covers themselves are only applicable to the 140 drop head and fixed head. Before I dive too much further into it, be sure to check out the description below, which has some useful information about not only the products here and also where to buy them on our website, but also some useful links to other videos for similar items that you may also wish to consider, as well as some good links to our website for our materials and colours library, which is definitely worth looking at. We offer the most colours out of anyone in the industry and different variants of materials, including different versions of leather. And there's also going to be some links on there to our blog handbook area, which is definitely worth spending some time reading. It goes into details about how we do things, the technologies we use, the process we use. We're very proud of the way we do things, as we're quite different to a lot of other suppliers out there, which puts us ahead of the ball. We're renowned worldwide for our quality and workmanship and have been for over 40 years now, and some of these blog post articles detail why that is the case. So definitely worth a bit of a deep dive. Anyway, let's dive on into these. So these particular seats have been done in grey smooth leather, so not much of a texture to the leather surface there. We can also offer grained and vomal, colour dependent. See our website for more details on that, and be sure to check out, like I say, the materials and colours library. They've been done to OEM specifications, so what we refer to as leather faced, but a lot of people just commonly refer to as leather. The majority of the bits are leather, basically. The only bits that are vinyl on these are the kind of retainers here on the back, part of the cushion base and the lower part of the backrest squab, as well as these side panels here that get the millboard elements there. Obviously the backs of them, the backs of the backrest panel were moquette as per original spec. Same sort of principle with the Centre Cushion armrest. All of this top part here, the pleated panel, etc., is leather, but these side bits here are vinyl, and then it has the incorporated handbrake lever cover, which is leather as well, and then that back part there is moquette. It's worth noting that everything you see in this video is already included as standard in our trim kit for the XK140 drop head and fixed head cars. But we can sell those items individually as well, and when I say individually, I mean in car sets. So the seat covers are sold as a set, i.e. a pair of seat covers. The Centre Cushion armrest is sold as a unit like that. With that, worth bearing in mind, the armrest comes with the padding foam for the underside there, but the millboard blank is sold separately. Same concept again on the seat covers. The millboard blanks are sold separately to the seat covers, so just bear that in mind. But like I say, everything you're seeing here is included as standard in our trim kit and does work out cheaper if you buy it as part of a trim kit, so just keep that in mind. To go into details on the actual seat covers themselves, so obviously the base is here, obviously pleated panel, front panel here. Basically every element on here is leather apart from the retainer there, which is vinyl. Look on the underside elements here, genuine tuck and roll pleats, as we always do with any seats that we manufacture that are feature the pleated panel styling to them. And yeah, you obviously get this front panel here, which is foamed up as well, and the borders surround, etc. Then the backrests, obviously same again. You get the genuine tuck and roll pleats. The last element here is a wider pleat, because a lot of that gets lost and pulled round when you're trimming it to the actual seat itself. Now it's worth noting on these that the drop head and fixed head did have two slightly different versions of seat covers depending on the frame that they used. They had the flat framed versions, and they had the tubular frame versions. These are actually, strictly speaking, for the flat frame, slightly narrower L shape to them there. They are pretty subtle differences, but they are different, so just bear that in mind. So these are, like I say, the flat frame versions, and it's all related to, if we just look in this book here, it's all related to the actual, you're not going to see any of it here, but the actual framework metal inside the actual cover there was either tubular at a certain point or flatter at a certain point. It's all around here that it kind of changed. So bear that in mind. We do have the patterns for all of them, so just keep that in mind there. Carrying on with the backrest, looking at the underside, obviously you get genuine chuck and roll pleats again. Always look out for our labels in there to make sure that you're getting superior product on the market. Then we pre-sew the scrims around the pleated panel, and also put some loose foam sewn in there, which all helps in the trimming process to get a nice even result. You then get these vinyl material pieces, and then the mill boards that they're used for. These will almost certainly need a bit of editing to get them to fit to the actual frame, but easy enough. We make them slightly bigger than they need to be so that you can match them up to your frames and trim back accordingly. Same with these elements here with that piece of vinyl there. Show you where those go. These ones here are down this area here of the seat, whereas the other elements are, don't fail me now. Oh yeah, so that's the, you can see there, that's the bit I'm referring to here. They did vary between the different XKs, hence the different shapes, as you can see there. But like I say, the flat ones, am I going to get an, oh yeah, you use this image here. They go there on the underside of that back top panel there. So that's those, which obviously get trimmed round, etc. Do see our other videos as we have trimmed up several of these. You can see there. You can see just the little lip. That's obviously where the panel is on there. That's a good example. That's a 140 rose, so that's why there's a fairly major difference between the seats. That one has the recess there for the hood frame element to hide in when it's retracted back, whereas these are all flat there, so worth keeping that in mind. Then obviously the backs of them are moquette. Moquette is a wool-based product, very heavy wool content, and yeah, sort of coloured to match the leather where possible, or depending on what colours you're going for your carpets and things, we can potentially tone it in with that. Bear in mind it's a wool-based product, so just bear that in mind. But yeah, that's obviously those bits there. Now looking at the centre cushion armrest, like I say, two different versions for the 140s. You had the square rectangular version versus the round version here. The square rectangular one was used on the early cars, the rounder ones on the later cars. The square ones were kind of a carry on from the 120s, although not exactly the same, whereas the round ones were continued into the 150s exactly the same. So here we are. You can see here, there you can just see that one there's sort of rectangular there. That's on that one, whereas all of these are the round ones that kind of saddled over the top of the tunnel, whereas the rectangular one kind of sat on top. I don't know if they've got any other images that show those better, I'm afraid. Not looking overly promising, I'm afraid, but yeah, all of these you can see they've got the curved one as per this. Anyway, so this is the round one, which was, I think, more commonly seen on the 140s. We say sort of late, but actually it's probably the majority of them. Pleated panel, obviously tuck and roll, sewn around, moquette on the back, vinyl surround there. Then it has the handbrake lever cover sewn into the side. That did vary. The obvious thing is right-hand drive versus left-hand drive. The general principle and concept being that left-hand drive cars, it was on the right side, so you would lean on it and pull up effectively, and vice versa for right-hand drive cars. However, that wasn't always the case, so always worth checking. We always do ask what side of the gearbox is your handbrake on. That's the easiest way of telling. Don't assume anything with these cars. But yeah, obviously this in theory is for a left-hand drive car, because you're going to be resting your arm on there as you're driving along, and then that's your handbrake if you fancy doing a handbrake turn. But yeah, so that's the armrest cover there. Comes with, like I say, the foam padding that comes underneath it to give it a bit more shape and definition as standard, and then the millboard panel there which curves and bends round. Again, do see a link to a video below where we've done one fully trimmed up. The millboard panel is sold separately to the actual cover itself. But yeah, that kind of covers it, I think. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with other classic car enthusiasts, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.